Hi, my name is Lance. This is the MTG Lance channel. We'll be doing a deck tech today on the Rakdos Aggro deck that I am running, and talk about how to run it and talk about the deck. So let's get into it. Starting with the land base, we're running 27 land, and the first two land cards we're running is two Rakdos Guildgates. The reason why I'm running two Guildgates is because I do not have 4 Blood Crypts. Yes, that bumps up the price as well, so if you have more money and you want to put some extra moolah into this, you can. All it does is enters the battlefield tapped, and you can tap it, get a red or a black mana from it. Next, we are with the mountains. We are running a count of 10 mountains. It's a mainly black heavy deck, so we don't want to be running a whole bunch of red if we're not playing a whole bunch of red. There is red in there, and there's a lot of stuff that costs 1 red, but most of the stuff that's going to cost the most is going to cost either 2 black or red. And then next, moving on, we're going to the swamps, and we're running a count of 15 swamps here. And just basic land, just nothing in particular with the land here. So that just gets the land done. I have a lot of land instead of the recommended 24 that most decks run-ish, depending on what they do. So sometimes they will run more or less. This is going to run a little bit more because I have trouble with my luck of getting mana. So after that, we're going to start moving into our 1-drops. We're going to go not into a 1-drop creature, but a 1-drop enchantment, and that is Deviant Glee. 1 black, and enchanted creature gets +2/+1, and has pay a red, and it gains trample in turn. Running 2 of these just in case you need a creature that needs to get in and do some bigger damage once it gets late game, or put it on a Cackler turn 2. So we're running 2 of those because we don't need very many of them, but they're very good. And now onto the creatures, and we'll go into instants and sorceries later. Next creature is Rakdos Cackler. He is you want him first turn. You want him unleashed. Yes, he can't block, but he's a 2/2 on turn 2, so you're going to be at least swinging in for 2. And we're going to run a playset of these. So we will be running a count of 4 of these. And yeah, so moving on to the 2-drops now. And that would be, the next 2-drop is Rakdos Shred-Freak. It is a 2 black or red, and it is a 2/1 haster. So we're going to run a playset of those. And what the point of him is you want turn 1 Cackler unleash, so you got a 2/2 right there on turn 2. And then turn 2 you want a Rakdos Shred-Freak or a Deviant Glee, meaning you're going to get in there for 4 at least. Moving on to the next 2-drop is Spike Jester. We're going to run 2 of him instead of, I would like to have 4, but I do not have 4 at the moment. It is 1 black, 1 red, haste, 3/1. Instead of the Shred-Freaks, you can get in there with the Spike Jesters and do some extra damage. Instead of just 4 damage, you get in there for 5 turn 2, which is some heavy damage in the early game, and you want to get in there, do some damage, and get out. You just want to get into it, get into the game, and start doing damage. Moving on to the next card is Splatter Thug. 1 red, 2 any, first strike and unleash. He is a 2/2, and if you unleash him, he's a 3/3. Basically, he is a filler for some other cards in this deck, but we're going to be running 2 of him. And still, paired with another card in here, he is very versatile and very strong. Yeah, 3/3 first striker is always nice because you'll be able to get in some of those smaller blockers and stuff and do a good amount of damage, or just get rid of the creatures before they do damage to you. Moving on, we're running 3 Mogis Marauders. Hopefully I pronounced that right. This card is one of the strong cards in this deck. He is a 1 black, 2 any. And what he does is when he enters the battlefield, up to X target creatures get intimidate and haste until end turn, where X is your devotion to black. And since a lot of the stuff, as you see, is 1 black, 1 black or red, 1 black or red, and then has black, that one doesn't. But the thing is, with the Shred-Freak, it is 2 black technically. No matter what, it's 2 black and it's 2 red. So pretty much you'll be able to swing in with everything unless they have black, and won't be able to be blocked. So we're running 3 of those because you don't want a lot of 3-drops. You want to get in with those small creatures. moving on to our, one second here, let me move these over. Moving on to our next 3-drop is Hellhole Flailer. And I'm not showing it, but I know the card, so we're going to talk about that. It is a, give me a second here, 1 any, 1 black, 1 red, and it is a 3/2 without Unleashed. Here we go, let me show it here. And Unleashed is a 4/3, and its ability is pay 2 any, 1 black, 1 red, and sacrifice it, and it deals damage equal to the player. So you're able to get in there from some extra damage for at least 4 whenever you swing with him. So moving on to our next 3-drop that we only have 1 of, because I only have 1, is Lifebane Zombie. Very good card. The more we have in here, the better, because you get knowledge from it. If they aren't running black, you have Intimidate, and if they're running green or white, you get to make, and it's a creature, you make them discard it. So he's very versatile, and I wish I had more of him, but I don't. So that's how that goes. Next, we're moving on to a 1 of I have, because I don't have more, is Liliana's Reaver. He is a 2 any, 1 black, 1 black, well, 2 blacks, Death Touch, 4/3. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you put a 2/2 black zombie creature onto battlefield, token, whatever, onto the battlefield tapped. And he's very good because if he doesn't block, they lose card advantage, and they have and we get a token. So be even swinging in for more. If they block, whatever creature they block with dies. Next, we're moving on to our last creature in this deck, and that is Exava, Rakdos Blood Witch. A first striker, haste, 3/3. Unleashed is a 4/4. Costs 2 any, 1 black, 1 red. And with him, his final ability, or her, each other creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has haste. The bonuses of this card is you want 2 of them. The only problem is you don't want more than 2 because they're a legendary creature and that rule applies to them. So he's good with this deck, or she is, because Unleashed gets counter, Unleashed gets counter, Unleashed gets counter. So a lot of the creatures, including her, will come in with counters and be able to get in there for haste if you play them late game. Next, we're moving on to our instant spells. And the first instant spell we're running is 4 lightning bolts. Running 4 of these just to get that early damage in that Doomblade can't hit if it's a black creature in early turn. You're able to get in there with a Doomblade, and if you need to do extra damage. So we're running a playset of those. Give me a second here. Next card is, of course, Doomblade. If you're running black, you should be running Doomblade, except right now it isn't the strongest card due to mono black devotion. So that's that. But we're running 4 of them, and they're a 1 black, 1 any, and destroy target non-black creature. Simple, gets to the point, gets stuff killed, and you just keep moving, keep them down, make sure whatever they're getting out you destroy, so then they can't destroy you. Next, we're running into our 2 Pharika. 2 black, deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life. This helps with that early turn. Since you mainly have a lot more black than you do red, you'll be probably have the 2 blacks, still be able to play the Cackler, still be able to play the Shred-Freak, get in those small creatures if they're running mana Exava with those Elvish Mystics, and gain some life from it just in case from later on damage. So we're running 2 of those. If you should be running those more sideboard, but I like them main board because they work pretty well. And with our last card is Hero's Downfall. I'd rather have these than Doomblade, or these instead of Phyrexian because you get planeswalkers and creatures, and they're any type of creatures. And it's better than Dreadbore because it has instant. It is 2 black, 1 any, destroy target creature or planeswalker. And that is all for the main board. So now we're going to move on to our sideboard and what we'll side it in for and why we side it in. Now moving on to the sideboard, we're going to get straight into it. It is not the sideboard I exactly want, but it is a very decent sideboard that works against a good amount of stuff that it can take care of. Starting out with Master of Cruelties. It is a 1 red, 1 black, 3 any. First striker, Death Touch. Can only attack alone, but whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player's whole life becomes exactly 1 and is a 1/4. He is very. I've run him in there because who does it? It's a very good card. It's one of those fun cards that it's like really you have that. It's annoyance. It isn't powerful in a sense, but it is at the same time. It's powerful if you can get through with it. Otherwise, it's kind of weak. But the reason I have him in there late game is to run him into those games where I'm controlling them very well, and they're not getting a lot of creatures out instead of big creatures, big guys, which I'm able to get rid of easily. Next, we're running 1 Dark Betrayal. I'd rather be running 4 of them actually because of the mono black devotion decks, and it gets rid of it for 1 instead of the 2 for Doomblade, but it can't target black. So what this does is 1 black and destroys target black creature. So you want him in there for more of the mono black devotion decks. And next we're running a count of 1 Magma Jet. It does 2 damage, and you get to target player, and you get to scry. The reason why we're running 1 of him is if we need to start looking at our hands more, and its mana's getting clumped up together and other stuff like that. So that's why she's in there, I guess. Next, we're running a count of 3 Dragon Hatchlings, and it is a one black, red, flying 0/1, and you pay 1 red, and it gets +1/+0 until that turn. Yes, you're not running red heavy, but what this does is go against those flying decks and heavy token decks, where you just get a flyer and you can block with simple stuff. So, moving on to the next card, it is Carnage Gladiator, and it is a 2 any, 1 black, 1 red, 4/2, and whenever a creature blocks, that's mine or yours, or any players in that matter, that creature's controller loses 1 life. And then 1 any, 1 black, 1 red, regenerate him. The point of him, and we're running 3 of him, actually. The point of him is to get in there, and if they're running a lot of tokens, they're going to be punished for playing tokens. Next, we're running Showstopper. It is a instant 1 any, 1 red, 1 black, and until amateur creatures you control gain, when this creature dies, deals 2 damage to that creature. Next card is Showstopper. 1 any, 1 black, 1 red. Till when a target creature dies, you control, do damage to a target opponent controls. So target creature and opponent controls. So that gets rid of the board wipes. If they're going to board wipe you, you're going to board wipe them back. And moving on to the next card, we are running a count of 2 Toil and Troubles. They both cost 3, 1 red, 1 black. And target player draws 2 cards, and that loses 2 life. And then it deals damage. Trouble does damage equal to the number of cards in hand. The reason why we have that is to deal with those cards or decks that are drawing so many cards, and they're going to have full hand sizes. So mostly those control decks that just keep their hand size big and are able to do stuff, you're just going to be like, you know what, let's punish you for that and make them do damage. So that was my Rakdos Aggro deck tech. We'll be doing more deck techs later with some of my other decks that I've ran before and are running. And just give me any suggestions on any decks you guys want me to run or show. I'll be doing hopefully more gameplay as soon as I can. It might be a while because our local game store actually just closed down. So I have to go a little while longer just to go play, but it is worth it. So yeah, this is Lance at the MTG Lance channel, and that is all. Thank you, and have a good day.